It's the morning of the day after. Wow, transfer deadline day. You may have seen me tweet just before that I said that deadline day promised so much and it's delivered so little. Hashtag boring. Yeah, actually, I've been sat on my computer. I've sat there for hours and hours, keep you all up to date, doing knocking off videos here and there, doing a live stream and everything. And this is the review for Man City for our deadline day, just deadline day business, and you'll see why I think it's boring what I get through. So we had a potential 6 or 7 transfers coming either in or out, so we're going to get through them right now. So first up, I'm not including them in the 6 or 7, is Raheem Sterling and Aguero. They already stated just before deadline day, the day before, that Sterling and Aguero were not leaving, and any deal that could be negotiated with Arsenal for Alexis Sanchez will be a cash-only deal. Okay, fair enough. We can accept that. So Man City put in a bid for Alexis Sanchez, 55 million plus 5 million in add-ons. Arsenal don't reject or accept the bid. Sources were saying that Arsenal more than prepared to accept that bid as long as Arsenal could line up a high-caliber replacement out on the wings for Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, they just sold Oxlade-Chamberlain, but they've not replaced him. I think Wenger already said that they weren't replacing him. So it was just always about if they could get a replacement, being linked with Draxler and being linked with Lamar, which is the key one here that they were after. So they're putting a bid for Lamar, £90 million, I think it were, that Monaco were willing to accept, and so they entered into official negotiations to go into personal terms with the player to see if they could get a medical done. I know Wenger was already in, I think it was in Paris yesterday to watch the France game. So deal weren't impossible to do, and apparently Arsenal within an hour, not even that, someone said as little as 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, Arsenal just said the deal's not happening, there's not enough time. So the deal for Sanchez was off, and Alexis Sanchez had told his Chile teammates apparently that he was moving to Man City, told his family that he was moving to Man City. He was happy, delighted, ended up being very frustrated. Maybe that was because Chile weren't doing too great in their match, or maybe it was just because, you know, he's thinking, God, I've got to do it now, at least till January with Arsenal. So a strange one, but that transfer didn't get over the line, so that's disappointing business on Man City. Man City blaming Arsenal, Arsenal are blaming Man City. But Man City is saying that they never had a suggestion that Arsenal were willing to sell until 2 or 3 days ago when they put in the bid. So, you know, Arsenal left it a little bit late, too late in fact. So they've got older Sanchez now till at least January. I will throw out this one, and I'm no like transfer expert, but I'm just wondering that could Alexis Sanchez not pay out the rest of his contract? I'm just wondering if Sanchez could ask to buy up his contract like Dani Alves' situation. If he could Man City sign him out of the window? I don't think they can. I think it can't be registered anyway because they have to be registered by today. So in January, I imagine Man City are going to go with another bid, but I'm just wondering, could Man City not pay for Alexis Sanchez's contract to be bought up? Like the Dani Alves situation, exactly like that, where Alexis Sanchez pays it, Man City could then reimburse it if they wanted to. I'm just wondering where it's going to go, because Alexis Sanchez is unhappy. I'm intrigued to see what Alexis Sanchez does actually. Is he going to refuse to come back? Is he going to stay in Chile? He's a very hard-working professional. I imagine he's going to come back to Arsenal. And so I'm going to be selfish here, and I'm going to say I hope Sanchez's time at Arsenal over the next 3 or 4 months aren't that good. And Arsenal's decline perhaps continues a little bit, because I want the suggestion for Arsenal that they're not going to win trophies and they're going to be struggling to make the top 4. That will then determine that Alexis Sanchez definitely wants to leave, don't want to sign a new contract, and Man City they go and get the man in January if they wanted to. They'll certainly by the end of the season. January, though, I think I'd be concentrating on if I was Man City. £60 million, they're not going to get that bid in January for a guy whose contract is up in June. So, well, the amount that we're talking here, I do not know, but that's just 0 out of 10. That's just so disappointing. It kind of put a downer on the day. I'm going to say it right now that there's so much pressure and so much high intensity on deadline day, and pressure for clubs to sign players, but maybe 1 or 2 players short in the squad they're not happy with. They end up panic buying, they end up making it dramatic and sending it to the last minutes and getting deals over the lines and stuff like Drinkwater's transfer, Llorente, Boney and stuff. You know, it all becomes so... People get so involved in the motion that they feel like maybe they're inclined to sign a player on deadline day. I mean, to be fair, with a review for Man City's transfers, which we'll be doing next week, for the whole window, you'll see that Man City's window actually hasn't been disappointing, but a very good window for signings. But deadline day, very disappointing because they didn't got the man. And another man they didn't get is Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans was always waiting for Mangala to be sold on loan. Man City were holding out for a permanent transfer, particularly as they had a £23 million bid from Crystal Palace. They accepted it, but Mangala didn't want to join them. I don't know why, but he didn't want to join them. He wanted to head to Italy, into Milan, and Verona, I think, were after him, both on loan. Man City weren't willing to go with that, and I'm happy to keep Mangala actually at Man City rather than loan Mangala out and sign 30 million Evans and end up signing selling Mangala, next season for pennies, you know, talking £2, £3, £4 million. So disappointing, but we'll see what Mangala can do. So he's got till at least January now to prove himself. So we'll definitely see what Mangala can do. I'm happy for that. And my favourite bit of business is Adara Bioyo's ended up staying at Man City. I'm delighted that Adara Bioyo's ended up staying. So it's another homegrown player. So we're only have to register 24 players now for the Champions League rather than 23 because he's stayed. We could register 25 if we promote one of the youth players. Which I'd be tempted to do if they wanted a bit more squad depth. Man City have only got 23 players, I think, for the season. So I imagine we're going to be registering 23 players. That's just how it is. But Adara Bioyo, he's going to be now 5th choice. It kind of hampers him, so I imagine he's going to be given quite a few EDS games and stuff. But he gets to train with the first team again. And I'm hoping this time that Pep will give him more of a chance this season. Fingers crossed. Because I think he's a good player, he has the right attitude, and he always tries his best, and you can't ask for much more of the youngsters, just like Foden, just like Diaz, just like Garcia last season too. It was just outgoings then from Man City, so we'll get for them quickly. Boney, £11 million transfer to Swansea completed. They wanted 10, Man City wanted 12. It was originally reported that they were going to get the 12. I was praising them yesterday for being playing hardball with the transfer, but instead ended up being £11 million. So we'll have to see if it's 11 or 12 million, but not the 10 that Swansea offered. So we managed to get a million or couple of million out of the transfer there. But that to Swansea's done, which saw Llorente head to Tottenham as well. So Boney no longer a Man City player. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Just a flop signing, bad signing from Pellegrini. It didn't make sense at the time, don't make sense now, and we ended up making a loss. There's a surprise. More players headed out. Keane Bryan headed out. He headed out to Oldham. Yeboah, I think, is headed out to Italy as well. Yeboah, I think his name's pronounced. We also saw a couple more players leave. We saw Jason Denayer sign on loan for Galatasaray for the season. So we've already done a video on that. Check that out if you wish. And we also saw our young lad Sancho, who finally left as well. Sad, but, didn't want to be at Man City. It could be anything from 500,000, I think, to 10 million, where the transfer could be with Compo, and by the time everything's agreed and all these add-on clauses, quite a few players have left. That's life for you. Players come, players go. Sorted. So that's all of the transfers for Man City that's happened over the last day for deadline day. Overall, in terms of outgoings, actually a very good day. Adara Bioyo, Mangala and Delph ended up staying rather than leaving. But we ended up keeping hold of Adara Bioyo for it. So we've got a couple more homegrown players there now with Delph and Adara Bioyo. But missed out on Sanchez, missed out on Evans, no Ben Gibson that I thought Man City might use as backup because Mangala didn't leave, never pursued anything. So, deadline day in itself ended up being a bit naff, really. There you go. But hopefully we'll do another review very soon for the window for Man City and how it's gone. In my opinion, it's been a fantastic window for Man City. They've improved in all the right positions. They're only short in 3 positions now, which means, and they might improve on 1 or 2 of them in January, which means next summer we might not be needing as many players. It might only be 2, 3, 4 at best, if certainly. So we're looking for a couple of defensive midfielders next summer. Don't think we'll be pursuing that in January. They might look at the centre-back if they can get rid of Mangala. It depends how he does. They might look at the left-back situation again. Depends how Danilo and Mendy get on and how that's working, and Kyle Walker obviously as well. And they also might look at the wings as well, because with Sane, Sterling, Jesus, Silva, other Silva, De Bruyne can all cover there. They're not really sure, but we'll have to see how they get along. Certainly injuries play a big part, so we'll have to see. But that's been deadline day. A good deadline day in terms of it being trying to make it exciting, but in the end, for Man City, ended up being a bit boring. A couple of players leaving, no wins. Never mind, I thought we'd have brought a player in, but we haven't. There you go. Transfers for you. So, don't forget to check out all my other videos. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new around here. It's been JSGC 171. Hope you have a nice day. Peace. Ciao for now.